Everybody knows that money making in free-to-play is an extremely painstaking process. Whether it's spam clicking tinder boxes in Draenor Village or making pie dishes at the Grand Exchange, it's always the last thing I want to be doing at the start of my RuneScape adventure. But sadly, it's one of the most important. Having a big cash stack unlocks a lot of the early game resources you need, and you can even use it to purchase your first bond. I recently made a video showing off 5 of my favorite free-to-play money makers. That video did so well and I thank you guys for that. But I noticed you guys left a lot of free-to-play money making suggestions in the comments, some of which I had never even heard of before. So today I decided to test out 4 more free-to-play money making methods, and this time suggested by you guys. And speaking of money, I recently started my very own Discord server and I'm doing weekly giveaways in there. Last week I gave away a bond and this week I'm giving away 5 million GP. So if you want to take part in that, feel free to check out the link in the description. Also, feel free to drop a like on this video to help me out in the algorithm. Thanks. Now let's test out some more money makers. Our first method of the day was provided by Cushy Kush, and they say buy beer in Varrock for 2 GP, sell for 50 plus. Sometimes the glass without beer is worth more. This method has no requirements besides a very small amount of GP. And we're going to try this one out at the Blue Moon Inn, which is located just south of the Varrock Square. All we do is bring 56 GP, which is the exact change for 28 cold ones, and we just spam buy these beers from the bartender. A helpful tip, which you probably already know, is to use your keyboard to get through the dialogue instead of using your mouse. When it says click here to continue, you can just use the spacebar to proceed with the dialogue. And if you have multiple options, you can use your number keys to choose which option you want to proceed with. For the bartender's dialogue, I'm just spamming the spacebar and my 1 key, and when I see the bartender has said no problemo, I click on him again to restart the dialogue. It'll take a few goes at it to get into a good rhythm, and when our inventory is full, we just run out the back door of the pub to the East Varrock Bank and repeat this process over and over. So I'm going to go ahead and grind this out for 15 minutes or so, and then we'll see the results. Alright, so it's been about 15 minutes and we got 224 beers, which is 8 inventories worth, so on average it took just under 2 minutes per inventory. Now let's go ahead and sell them on the GE. They should instant sell for around 94 GP each, and we got 21,056 GP. Subtract our cost of 448 GP, and we are left with 20,608 GP. Multiply that number by 4 and we get just under 82.5 thousand GP per hour, as we just did it for 15 minutes. Thank you for the moneymaker, Cushy Kush. Not bad for free to play with no requirements. Our second method of the day was provided by Ligma1764, who says, my favorite method was Zamorak wines. Back when bonds were like 4 mil, I did a full grind from free to play doing Zami wines and flipping free to play items. This method will require 37 magic because 37 magic will allow you to use telekinetic grab and also Falador teleport, and 500 total level is needed to access the upper level of the Asgardian Chaos Temple, which is where this method takes place. The temple is located just east of the Goblin Village, which is a little ways north of Falador. We're going to need to wear Zamorak robe top and bottoms to get to the upper floor of the temple undetected. We also need to wield a Staff of Air and bring Law and Water runes. All we are going to do is head up to the upper floor, telegrab the wine, hop worlds, and rinse and repeat. When your inventory is full, use Falador teleport, bank your items, and run back north to the temple, and rinse and repeat. World hopping is optional, but you increase your GP per hour significantly, so I'd highly recommend it. And a helpful tip is to use the World Hopper plugin on RuneLite, as you can set a hotkey to hop worlds. But the wines do spawn every 30 seconds, so you technically can do this without hopping if you want a more laid back version of this money making method. But personally, I'm going to implement hopping and sweat this out for 15 minutes or so, and then we'll see the results. So it's been about 18 minutes now, and we managed to gather 78 Zamorak wines, which was 3 inventories, meaning on average it took 6 minutes per inventory. Let's get them up on the GE now. They should insta-sell at this time for 745 GP, and we got 57,642 GP for our 78 wines of Zamorak. Subtract our cost of runes, which was 11,760, and we are left with 45,882 GP. Multiply that by 3.33 as we did it for just 18 minutes, and this method came in at a little over 150,000 GP per hour, and in addition, we did get a little magic XP. Thank you to Ligma1764 for the nice free-to-play moneymaker. Do you guys like alcohol or what? This next method was suggested by Potitian, who says, my best money-making method is hanging around the GE, picking up ashes from campfires and selling them on the GE. Takes 2 minutes to get a full inventory, do it 20 times an hour, and you've got around 28k per hour. This money-making method has no requirements. This method should take place at the GE, where many people are usually training their fire making by lighting fires over and over, and we're simply going to do Gillinor a favor and clean up the ashes after these pyromaniacs. Simply pick up their ashes until your inventory is full and then deposit your ashes in the bank and repeat this process over and over. Make sure to do this on a populated world and feel free to hop around to find a good world for this. Another way of doing this when there's not many other people lighting fires and leaving their ashes behind is to light your own fires with maple logs. You will need 45 fire making to do it this way, but it takes advantage of the fact that maple logs are significantly cheaper than ashes. But I'm going to stick to the traditional method and I'll go ahead and do this for 15 minutes or so and we'll see how many ashes we can gather. So it's been about 15 minutes and we got 280 ashes. Let's put them in the GE. They're insta selling at 90 GP each and we sold them all for 25,200 GP. Multiply that by 4 as we just did it for 15 minutes and we were earning just over 100,000 GP per hour. Honestly, I've known about this method for a while, but I did not expect it to break 100k per hour. Thank you for the moneymaker, Politician. Our final method of the day was suggested by Wernerson6947, who says, my favorite moneymaker will always be high alching stuff while watching YouTube videos. High alching requires 55 magic, and to get the best GP rates, you're going to need a somewhat large cash stack. You will also need to equip a staff of fire and have some nature runes in your inventory. Technically, you can do this method anywhere so long as you have the items in your inventory, but I think it's best to do this at the GE as you can buy items as you need them. Alching works by casting the high alchemy spell on items in your inventory, which converts them into straight GP, and making money this way takes advantage of the fact that some items are sold for less GP than the high alchemy spell gives on the Grand Exchange. For this method, to maximize the GP per hour, you're going to want to use this website called Alchmate. Not sponsored or anything, it's just a great tool to use when you need to find some items to alch, and I'll drop a link in the description for you guys. When you go on the website, if you're doing this in free to play, make sure you have this checkbox unticked. That will make the list only display items available in free to play. Now you can see in green the expected profit per alch for certain items. You will also notice on the right side of the website that it displays the buy limit on these items. Here at the top we have trimmed green d'hide bodies, which give an insane amount of profit apparently. But it does have a buy limit of 8, which means you can only buy 8 of these every 4 hours. But let's try them out. Another tool that I use that can help you in this process is the Flipping Utilities plugin on RuneLite, which will tell you the approximate cheapest instant buy price for these items. For these trimmed green d'hide bodies, the instant buy is 3,608, so I'm going to put my offer in for 3,610 to make sure I get them quickly. Once we have the items in our inventory, we can move the items into this optimal position in our inventory. This will allow you to simply click twice without moving your mouse to alch your items. Alching the 8 bodies took only 24 seconds, and as you can see, we ended up profiting 8,576 GP, but we still do need to subtract the cost of our nature runes, which was 880 GP, leaving us with 7,696 GP in just 24 seconds. To get our hourly rate, we multiply that by 150, effectively putting this method at over 1.1 million GP per hour. Insane. But we were only able to do it for 24 seconds. Get clickbaited. Joking, you can really do this for longer if you're willing to wait and you put a buy order in for more bodies or whatever item you want to alch, and it will auto buy the items every 4 hours. So wait a few days or weeks and you can really make over 1 million GP per hour for more than 24 seconds. But let's be realistic, you want GP now and don't want to wait the days or weeks for the items to buy. So let's head back to the website and find some items with higher buying limits. Here we can see we have some rune items with a buy limit of 70, so let's try a few of these out. Alright, we got our rune items. All of these took about 10 minutes to buy at the target price. Let's go ahead and alch them and see how much profit we make. So it took about 10.5 minutes to alch all 210 items, and we ended up with a cash stack of 3,158,400 GP. Let's subtract the cost of our items, and then subtract the cost of our nature runes, and we are left with a profit of 78,120 GP in 10.5 minutes. Multiply that by 5.71 to get our hourly rate, and we were making just over 446,000 GP per hour. High alching is definitely one of the best and most versatile free-to-play moneymakers, and you should definitely use it if you have the magic level. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention, in addition to great profit, alching also gives you a decent bit of magic XP, around 78,000 XP per hour. You can't beat that. Thank you for the suggestion, Wernerson6947. And that's going to conclude today's moneymakers. I hope to make more of these in the future. I think I might do members for the next one, but whether you're a member or not, drop a comment letting me know your go-to money-making methods. That's all from me today, guys. Till next time, peace.